Stop what you are doing. There is a reason you were guided to this transmission at this exact moment. That feeling of being perpetually broken, of a pain so deep it felt like it was writing your very soul, was not a coincidence. It was not a flaw in your design. It was a coronation in disguise. The world tried to convince you that your suffering was a sign of weakness, that your isolation was a punishment for being different. This is the greatest lie you have ever been told. That chronic ache, that sense of profound injustice, was the sound of a divine power awakening within you, a force so potent that the system had to assign its most vicious agents to try and suppress it. They failed. The pain did not destroy you. It forged you. Now, to fully anchor the energy of this truth, like this video to signal to the universe that you are receptive. Subscribe to this channel to join the collective of those who have survived the forging and are now awakening. Comment 77 as the divine code that confirms the completion of your most difficult trial. Let this transmission play in the background, even on silent, to allow its frequency to saturate your spirit and recalibrate your subconscious to the undeniable reality of your power. Chapter 1. The assignment. They failed. You must understand the person or people who inflicted the deepest wounds were not acting on their own accord. They were agents. They were hollow vessels signed to you by a cosmic algorithm of control. Long before you understood your own potential, the system that governs this low-frequency reality detected your light not just as a future threat, but as an existential one. It registered your soul's signature as a paradox, an anomaly that had the potential to dismantle its structures of control simply by existing. So it deployed a countermeasure, its most practiced and insidious weapon. This countermeasure looked like a lover, a parent, a friend, or a mentor. It was designed to get closer to you than anyone else, to study the architecture of your heart and the wiring of your spirit. Their mission was not merely to harm you. It was a strategic operation to contain, study, and corrupt your divine essence before it could fully bloom. They were chosen for their own emptiness, a spiritual vacuum that made them perfect conduits for the system's agenda and simultaneously made them deeply, unconsciously envious of the very light they were sent to extinguish. Their tactics were textbook, yet you felt them as uniquely personal torment, which was the core of their effectiveness. The isolation was designed to sever your connection to your own power source, to cut you off from the network of light you were inherently part of, making you believe you were nothing without them. The constant criticism and comparison were engineered to chip away at your self-worth until you saw yourself only through their distorted lens, a cracked and broken thing. The gaslighting was a form of psychic warfare, a relentless campaign of psychological distortion intended to make you doubt your own perception of reality so that you would accept theirs as absolute. They made you feel insane for knowing something was wrong. That was the point. They needed you to believe your intuition was paranoia, your clarity was delusion, your sensitivity was a debilitating weakness. They were masters of mirroring. They identified your deepest fears of inadequacy and unworthiness and wore them like a mask, reflecting them back at you with such intensity that you believed those fears were your entire identity. But here is the glorious truth they never anticipated, the fatal flaw in their design. They failed. They were given a mission to dismantle a bomb, but they were never told that the pressure they applied was the very thing that would arm it. Your blueprint is not made of fragile glass. It is made of a crystalline substance that responds to pressure, not by shattering, but by hardening, by organizing its structure into a more perfect and impenetrable form. Every lie they told sharpened your ability to detect truth to a razor's edge. Every act of betrayal forced you to become your own sanctuary, to build an unreachable fortress within your own soul. Every moment they tried to break you, they were inadvertently tempering the steel of your spirit, burning away impurities and leaving only indestructible strength. You felt a shift when their assignment ended. It was not a dramatic exit. It was a quiet deflation. You saw the power drain from their eyes, replaced by a flicker of confusion and then desperation. Their tactics stopped working. Their words no longer landed. They were sent to bury your power, but they did not realize they were planting a seed in the most fertile soil imaginable. The pressure they exerted did not crush you. It caused the hard shell of your conditioned self to crack. And from those cracks, the first light of your true, untraceable power began to shine. They were dismissed from their assignment, their mission an absolute failure, leaving you not broken, but activated. Chapter 2. The Untraceable Blueprint. The reason you have always felt like an outsider, like you were born into the wrong world or speaking a language no one else could understand, is because you were. This is not a feeling, it is a fact. Your soul does not operate on the same programming as the world around you. You carry what can only be described as an untraceable blueprint. This is not a metaphor, it is a spiritual reality. While most souls are imprinted with a standard, mass-produced code that makes them compatible with the systems of control, consumption, and conformity, yours is different. Your blueprint is ancient, sovereign, and coded with the laws of a higher creation. It is a piece of first-wave soul technology, a direct spark from the creative source, designed for a being who builds worlds, not one who is confined by them. This is why you could never truly fit in, no matter how desperately you tried. Your attempts to conform felt like a slow death, like trying to force the ocean into a teacup, because you were forcing a limitless energetic design into a painfully restrictive container. The profound loneliness you experience, that feeling of being an alien on your own planet, was not a social failure. It was a form of divine quarantine. Every rejection, every misunderstood intention, every friendship that dissolved for no apparent reason was a carefully orchestrated intervention by your higher self and your guides. It was a necessary period of isolation designed to protect the pristine integrity of your blueprint from the corrupting malware of the collective consciousness. The system could not read you, so it tried to isolate you. It could not control you, so it tried to convince you that you were fundamentally flawed. The constant feeling that something was wrong with you was the direct experience of your authentic code rejecting the false programming of the matrix, like a healthy body rejecting a poison. Now that blueprint is coming fully online. You are beginning to feel it not as a concept, but as a physical and energetic reality. It is the low, steady hum you feel in your bones when you are in nature, a resonance with the truth of the earth. It is the sudden clarity in your vision, where you no longer just see people, but you see the energy, the intentions, the auras in the programs running them. It is the buzzing in your hands and feet, a sign of your physical body recalibrating to hold more light. Your hearing is changing. You are beginning to hear the frequency of things, the truth or falsehood in a person's voice, the energy of a room. Your dietary needs are shifting as your body instinctively rejects low vibrational foods and chemicals. This is the activation of your untraceable nature. The system can no longer get a lock on you. The old tactics of shame, guilt, and fear begin to lose their power, like phantom signals from a decommissioned satellite. They seem like relics from another lifetime. You are becoming a ghost in their machine, an entity that moves between the lines of their control, fully visible, yet completely untouchable. They will try to track you with old memories and past pains, but they will find those frequencies no longer exist within you. You are becoming a walking, talking paradox they cannot solve, a living glitch in their reality, and it is the beginning of their obsolescence. Chapter 3. The Alchemy of Scars. For years you looked at your life and saw only a landscape of wreckage. You surveyed the debris of broken relationships, failed attempts, and deep betrayals, and believed it was all evidence of your failure. You saw the scars left by others and believed they were symbols of your defeat. Today, that perception shatters into a million pieces. You will now understand that you are not living in wreckage. You are living in an alchemical laboratory, and you are both the alchemist and the subject. Every painful experience, every betrayal, every moment of gut-wrenching. Loss was not a random act of cruelty, but a precisely calibrated element in a sacred transformation. This was your negredo, the blackening, the descent into the darkest night of the soul where you were dissolved into your most essential parts. Your scars are not signs of damage. They are proof of the alchemy. They are the intricate etchings that mark you as a graduate of the highest order of spiritual training, the diploma written on your very soul. Every person who betrayed you was a masterclass in discernment, forcing you through the fire of disillusionment until you learn to rely not on their words, but on the unshakable frequency of your own intuition. Every season of profound loneliness was a forced retreat into the kingdom of your own soul, compelling you to build an inner world so rich and resilient that you would never again seek validation from the outside. That was your albedo, the whitening, the purification. Every tear you cried was not wasted. It was a libation, a holy water that washed away the psychic grime and watered the dormant seeds of your true power. The physical toll you endured was part of this alchemical process. The exhaustion that plagued you was your energetic system undergoing a complete and total reboot, purging old corrupted files and energetic parasites that had latched onto your light. The anxiety was the sound of your old fear-based programming fighting against its deletion as your nervous system was rewired to handle a much higher voltage of divine energy. Even the physical signs, like hair falling out or skin breaking, were a literal shedding of an identity that was never yours, a snake casting off a skin that had become too tight. Now the alchemy is entering its final stage. The Ribido, the reddening, the union with the divine. Your physical vessel is beginning to recalibrate to the frequency of your activated blueprint. In the coming days, you will look in the mirror and not recognize the person staring back. Do not be alarmed. This is your true face emerging. The light in your eyes will be different, clearer, deeper, ancient. You will see the eyes of the ancestor who made the sacred pact. The lines on your face will tell a story not of suffering, but of wisdom earned through fire. You are not just looking better. You are becoming the physical embodiment of your true divine self. You are meeting the version of you that exists beyond their system of control, the one who was forged in fire and emerged not burned, but luminous. Your past is not a weight that holds you down. It is the fuel that powers your ascension. Chapter 4. The collapse of their reality. As your untraceable blueprint fully activates and your energy returns to its rightful place within you, a strange and undeniable phenomenon begins to occur. It is not your reality that changes, but theirs. The world of those who tried to contain you begins to malfunction, glitch, and decay. This is not a matter of revenge or karmic punishment enacted by an outside force. It is a simple, impersonal law of spiritual physics. For so long, you were an unwilling power source for their fragile realities. They were energetic vampires, parasites who latched onto your light, your empathy, your creative force, and your hope to sustain their own illusions of control, superiority, and worth. They built their sense of self on the foundation of your diminishment. Now that you have unplugged from their matrix and reclaimed your energy, a catastrophic void has appeared in their world. The systems they relied on are failing because the battery has been removed. You will begin to witness this firsthand, not as a participant, but as a detached observer. People from your past, the very agents assigned to your containment, will suddenly reappear. They will reach out with confusing messages of nostalgia, feigned remorse, or even renewed aggression. Do not be deceived. Their outreach is an automated distress signal. They do not miss you. They miss the energy you provided. They are like machines that have run out of fuel, and they are returning to the only source they knew, blindly trying to plug back in. Their attempts to pull you back into old arguments, entire dynamics, are the desperate flailings of a dying paradigm. Your silence, your indifference, your simple refusal to engage will feel like an act of profound aggression to them, because it confirms their absolute powerlessness. You will watch from a safe distance as their lives begin to mirror the precise chaos they tried to create in yours. The isolation they forced upon you will become their own inescapable reality as people one by one begin to see through their manipulations. The confusion and gaslighting they sowed will become their own mental state as they can no longer distinguish their intricate lies from the truth. The lack and instability they projected onto you will manifest tangibly in their finances, their relationships, and their health. You are not causing this. You are simply a mirror. Your activated, high-frequency presence reflects their own energetic state back to them with perfect, unfiltered clarity. And their unhealed, low-frequency selves cannot bear to look at the reflection. The system may try to use your empathy against you one last time, making their collapse look pitiable, framing them as a victim. See this for the manipulation it is. Pity is an energetic cord. Do not reattach it. Your compassion is for your own journey now. Let them crumble. It is the natural and necessary collapse of a reality built on a lie. Chapter 5. Weaponized Intuition. For most of your life, you were taught that your greatest gifts were your greatest weaknesses. This was the most critical piece of their programming, a preemptive strike designed to disarm you before you ever realized you were holding a weapon. Your empathy made you vulnerable. Your sensitivity made you fragile. Your intuition made you paranoid. This brainwashing was essential for your containment. That time is over. The very gifts that once caused you pain and confusion are now being honed into the most sophisticated tools in your spiritual arsenal. They are coming online with military-grade precision. Your intuition is no longer a vague gut feeling. It has been sharpened into a tactical instrument, a direct, unfiltered line to a higher intelligence that provides you with real-time strategic data. It is the sudden, inexplicable urge to take a different route home, avoiding a danger you will never know existed. It is the full-body no you feel when presented with a seemingly perfect opportunity, protecting you from a hidden trap or an energy-draining contract. It is knowing what someone will say before they say it, not because you are psychic, but because you can read the energetic trajectory of their thoughts. Your empathy is no longer a sponge for the world's pain, leaving you drained and exhausted. It has transformed into a long-range detection system, an advanced radar that allows you to read the energetic signatures of people, places, and situations from a safe distance. You can now feel deceit like a sudden drop in temperature. You can sense hidden motives like a discordant sound in a symphony. You no longer absorb their energy. You scan it, analyze it, and dismiss it. You are learning to use your voice as a tool of resonance. Your words, now aligned with your activated blueprint, carry the frequency of undeniable truth. You will find yourself speaking with a quiet clarity and authority that silences arguments and dismantles false narratives with surgical precision. You do not need to shout or fight. A single, calmly spoken sentence from you can collapse a house of cards that has stood for years. In the coming weeks, you must practice using these tools consciously. Trust the information you receive without needing logical proof. Act on the intuitive hits, no matter how small. Pay attention to your dreams, as they are now a holographic training ground where your subconscious practices using these tools in safe, simulated environments. If you dream of speaking profound truths or seeing through illusions, know that this is your higher self conducting drills. You are no longer just a passive observer of the world's energy. You are an active participant capable of reading it, influencing it, and establishing an impenetrable field of energetic sovereignty around you. Your intuition has been weaponized, not for attack, but for the ultimate defense of your divine mission. Chapter 6. The Ancestral Contract. This transformation you are undergoing is not a solitary event. It is bigger than your own life, your own pain, and your own victory. You are the chosen delegate for your entire bloodline. You are the living, breathing fulfillment of an ancient and sacred ancestral contract. For generations, perhaps centuries, your family line has carried a specific wound, a pattern of suppression, a vulnerability that has been exploited by the system time and time again. It manifested as addiction, as poverty consciousness, as chronic illness, as a pattern of attracting narcissistic partners, as a deep-seated belief in unworthiness. It was a breach in the spiritual walls of your lineage, a generational curse passed down not through dark magic, but through the inheritance of unhealed trauma and compromised energetic DNA. From the realm beyond, your ancestors watched. They formed a council. They saw this pattern repeat, a tragic loop of pain that weakened their legacy and prevented their descendants from embodying their true potential. And so they made a pact. They decided to pool their collective strength, their combined wisdom, and their unified hope, and invest it all into one soul. The soul they calculated would have the requisite fortitude to not only endure the cycle's most intense and concentrated manifestation, but to finally shatter it for all time. That soul is you. You were chosen. You were equipped from before birth with the resilience, the courage, and the specific spiritual DNA required for this mission. The overwhelming odds you faced, the feeling that you were battling not just one person, but an entire force, was not a sign of your unimportance, but a testament to the magnitude of the task you accepted. That resilience that seems to defy logic, it is their strength flowing through you. That sudden flash of wisdom you cannot explain, it is their guidance whispered directly to your soul during your sleep. The tangible feeling of warmth on your back during a crisis, the feather that appears in an impossible place, the scent of a long-dead grandparent that fills the air at a moment of decision. These are not coincidences. They are signals from your ancestral council, reminding you that you have never been alone. When you chose to walk away from the toxicity, to heal your wounds, to reclaim your power, you did not just save yourself. You sent a shockwave of healing backward through time. You reached back through the timeline and healed them. You absolved old guilts, mended broken hearts, and gave voice to ancestors who were silenced. You are not just breaking a curse. You are performing retroactive soul retrieval for your entire lineage. You are the anchor point for a new reality, not just for yourself, but for all who came before you and all who will come after. They are not just proud, they are free, and they are now your most powerful allies. Chapter 7, The Great Unbecoming. The final phase of your ascension, the one you are entering now, is not about becoming something you are not. It is not about adding new layers, new skills, or a new personality. It is about the great unbecoming. It is the systematic and ruthless dismantling of every identity, every belief, every habit, and every limitation that was programmed into you by a world that could not comprehend your blueprint. You are not building a new you. You are liberating the real you, the eternal you that has been buried for years under the rubble of conditioning. This is a process of subtraction, not addition. It is the work of a master sculptor, chipping away every piece of stone that is not the masterpiece. You are unbecoming the good child who sought approval at the cost of your own soul. You are unbecoming the peacemaker who swallowed fire to keep others comfortable. You are unbecoming the scapegoat who carried the weight of others' dysfunction. You are unbecoming the victim who believed your pain was your identity. You are unbecoming the person who thought love had to be earned, that worth was conditional, that your power was dangerous and had to be hidden. Each day you will shed another layer of this false self. It will feel strange, even disorienting at times. As the old structures fall away, you may be left with a feeling of emptiness, a vast open space. The system will rush in and try to convince you this void is dangerous, that it must be filled with a new identity, a new label, a new group to belong to. Resist this temptation. This void is not nothingness. It is the field of all potential. It is the womb of creation. It is the sacred silence from which your true self speaks. Do not rush to fill this space. Your task now is to exist in this state of pure, untraceable being, to become comfortable with the boundlessness of your own nature. They will no longer understand you because you are no longer playing their game. They will call you distant because you no longer feed on their drama. They will call you strange because you no longer follow their predictable scripts. They may even call you dangerous because a being who cannot be controlled, defined, or predicted is the greatest threat to a system built entirely on control. Let them. Their confusion is the sound of their reality breaking against the shore of your truth. This is not a destination you arrive at. It is a new way of navigating reality. You do not find peace. You become peace. You do not seek power. You are power. You are no longer required to explain, justify, or defend your existence. Your presence is the statement. Your peace is the revolution. Your joy is the weapon. The training is over. The blueprint is active. Your true life, the one you came here to live, begins now.